Tomodachi life, living the dream. On Bioic Island.
Tomodachi Life Living the Dream is a game that I've been waiting for a long time. It's a follow-up to the 3DS game Tomodachi Life, which is also kind of like a follow-up to like the Tomodachi collection games, which are all in Japan only. But Tomodachi Life for the 3DS is one of my favorite games of all time. I'm not gonna say it's a perfect masterpiece or anything like that, but I played so much of that game. And Living the Dream is truly everything I could have asked for. But here's the thing, this review is gonna be a bit different. Like I sort of alluded to, I have a very strong bias here. But also, there's too much to do in this game, I haven't seen it all. So I'm letting you guys know now, I'm not going to give this game a score out of 10 like I usually do. I will give it some sort of verdict though, but I don't think I can give it an actual number. And that's because Tomodachi Life Living the Dream is a game that is experienced very differently from most. But let's talk about it. Hi guys, MiiKcast here reviewing today, or sort of reviewing today, Tomodachi Life Living the Dream. And before we get started, you know what to do. Be sure to hit the bell, leave a comment, or I'll make you frozen.
The famous Senbon Tori at Fushimi Naritai Shaw. I'm seeing red.
Say cheese.
Starting off with the good, Tomodachi Life is a forever game, meaning it's a game that you can't really finish. It's a game that moves along in real time, sort of like Animal Crossing or The Sims. 24 hours for you is also 24 hours for the characters in the game. That adds an infinite amount of replayability, or in this case, playability, since I wouldn't really say you beat it. I mean, yes, you do roll credits at some point, but that I feel like that's not the same as beating it in some cases. What about the actual game? Well, Tomodachi Life Living the Dream has you living on an island, and you can name it whatever you want, and I named mine Big Island, because I thought that was funny. And your island is inhabited by Miis. Miis that can be from your Switch, or made with the Mii creator in the game. And I already stacked my island with a lot. Myself, my brothers, a lot of my friends, especially those in the MiiKcast, which is, you should subscribe to fictional characters like Sephiroth, Homer Simpson, Lara Croft, to weird and random Miis that I made like Jom, and Pinky Panky, and Big Baby, and Fuck. Yup. I'll touch more on the fact that there is no limit to the language you use later, but it's so nice to see all these Miis interact, become friends, and even fall in love. One of the first Miis I put into this game was my friend Slash, and despite the fact that we are very close friends in real life, it was just really nice to see my Mii and his Mii become very good friends in the game. It goes from normal connections like that to fucking weird ones like Princess Fiona from Shrek having a massive crush on Sephiroth from Final Fantasy VII, and even funnier that Sephiroth could not give less of a shit. One thing that can happen is two Miis become so close they move in together. This is a neat addition and shows that this is not just a new Tomodachi Life, but a bigger one too. And more on that, yeah, this game is just bigger. First off, in the 3DS game, you would just observe the Miis by looking into their apartments. In Living the Dream, yes, you can do that, but the Miis also leave their houses to interact around the island. When this happens, you can see them talk to each other, fall asleep on a bench, or just walk around the island or do whatever they want. It makes the island feel lived in the silliest yet endearing way. Plus, the Miis can have weird dreams or interactions or whatnot, which brings me to the next thing. The game is fucking bizarre, but in the best way possible. You may have seen in the trailers where Miis have these hallucinations where another Mii they are thinking about is giant. Well, basically the entire game is like that. Tomodachi Life Living the Dream is really bizarre, but I wouldn't have it any other way. But also, I love the many customization options when creating a Mii. Like, there are more options for hair, eyes, eyebrows, facial hair, more so than in the Switch's own built-in Mii Maker. You can even give Miis whatever color skin you want, and I don't mean black or white, I mean green, red, purple, blue, etc. It is very rich and robust, and again, quite shocking considering this game gives more options to customize your Mii than the actual Mii Maker. And on top of that, you can customize your Mii's sexuality or gender. I hate that this is even controversial, but you know how people are. But either way, I just think this is the right move to include this option, especially when you consider that Nintendo actually had to apologize for not including same-sex relationships in the first game. This game also looks amazing. It looks cartoony and crisp, just like it should. Then there are other things like the news reports, taking photos, going on trips, going to a diner, which is, to my memory, a new addition to Living the Dream. It all adds a lot of character and charm to the game. And there's more, but if I list it all, we'll be here all day. Simply put, Tomodachi Life Living the Dream is a worthy follow-up to a goated game.
We interrupt to bring you some breaking news. We've just received some breaking news. Now that the island is home to 10 residents, we've received a report of the island 5. This represents the overall state of the island.
Moving on to the mixed, these are mainly things I don't consider good or bad. Maybe they are bad, but not bad enough to put them in the bad, if that makes sense. First is, there's no filter. I mentioned this earlier, that there is no filter for what words you have your Miis say, so they can say all types of curse words or mention things that normally shouldn't be allowed in an E-rated game. And no, I'm not complaining about this. I'm not going to be one of those think the children people. This is genuinely really funny, and I have become a little immature child myself taking advantage of this. I just don't know if this belongs in the good. It's not bad though, but maybe if you're a parent watching this video thinking about giving this game to your kid, keep that in mind. It's just crazy that Nintendo didn't put a barrier on this at all. Like, that's insane to me. But now on to things I'm actually mixed on. You have a limit of 70 Miis. Now, I normally wouldn't be complaining about that because an island with 70 Miis is a solid number, but that's less than the 3DS game's 100 Miis. Why does the sequel have less? Well, I think I can tell you actually. Living the Dream clearly has a bigger budget and more going on outside of the Miis, so maybe 70 Miis was a compromise, but it is less than the previous game, which I think is worth noting. And lastly for the mixed, a lot of reviews for this game cited that it could feel repetitive and samey a lot. And as someone who loves this game, I get it. It absolutely could feel repetitive. Little things like one of your Miis having the hiccups and helping them get rid of it, or being frozen and helping them unfreeze. Little things like that are cute, but get annoying after the 17th time in a single sitting. But I can't really fault the game for that, because that's, I guess a byproduct is the right word, of the type of game that Tomodachi Life is. This is sort of like a life sim game where you create Miis and they just go about their day. And things like this happen to each of them. I guess Tomodachi Life Living the Dream is probably best consumed by checking it a few times a day while you spend those other hours doing other things like playing a game like Mouse PI for Hire, which, don't worry, I got a review for that one cooking. It's gonna come out a bit late, but you'll see it. But back to Tomodachi Life. If it's that kind of game, shouldn't it not be $60? And to that I say, it depends on what you'll ultimately get out of a game like this. I know for a fact $60 should be well worth it for me if the amount of time I put into the 3DS game is anything to go off of, but to each their own.
Well, no surprise there. I guess I was too reckless.
Moving on to the bad, there are some small issues like load times. It's 2026, what are we doing? But hey, this is a Switch 1 game, not a Switch 2 game, so I kinda get it. And also a small nitpick where when you create a Mii, the game gives you the option to make it so that that Mii is related to another Mii. So for example, I made myself, of course, but then I also made my brothers in the game. And I was able to tell the game that they're my brothers. That's cool and all, but our Miis are still strangers to each other. The game knows that we're related, yet when our Miis first meet in the game, they had never met before. And really, they ask about relatives to avoid someone dating their own family member in the game, which makes sense and is really good that that's there. But my brothers being strangers to me just doesn't make sense. That was a nitpick, But my actual biggest issue is the lack of player connectivity, or just sharing in the game in general. There is sort of a multiplayer option, but not really. It's only local multiplayer, and to be honest, I never even tried it. Why is there no online? Nintendo, again, being very questionable when it comes to online. But there's also no sharing in this game of any kind. That really sucks for a game where it's all about, hey guys, look at this weird thing that happened. Look here, Sabrina Carpenter is friends with Matt from Wii Sports. Isn't that so funny? And there is no sort of community to share that unless you go on Twitter, which, fuck that. I'm not going on Twitter. And I get why you don't have Mii QR codes like the 3DS game did. How are you gonna scan a QR code on the Switch? I get that. But there should be some sort of replacement for that. Like maybe an ID search for a Mii and you can like download it to your island. I don't know, but Living the Dream is really lacking in an area that it really shouldn't be lacking in.
DPX's look-alike.
Look-alike.
We give you
Our
our
eternal
eternal
thanks.
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 Overall, I love Tomodachi Life Living the Dream. It's a game I waited, 12, 13 years for, and it's everything I wanted. Playing this game gives me a rush of nostalgia that really reminded me of the first game. But now we go back to what I said earlier about me not giving this game a score, in that it might objectively not be a 10 out of 10, but if I keep coming back to this game over the years like I did with the 3DS game, it's a 10 out of 10 in my eyes. But we don't know that. So depending on how much of this game I play in the future, I could retroactively give it a 10, 9, 8, or even a 7. But right now, it's a game that I'm going to keep playing after reviewing it. There's still more I need to do anyways, and I may not give it a score, but I do give Tomodachi Life Living the Dream the DPX stamp of approval. So that's my review of Tomodachi Life Living the Dream. Sorry it's coming out a bit late. I've had a busy weekend. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And let me know what you think of this game. Anything about the game, let me know down below. Anyways, be sure to video, come subscribe, or I will freeze you. Bye!